G'day, Professor Joseph Drew. This video is just my opinions on how academia needs to change, how they should change. We draw on a lot of the community's resources. We have a need to give back to the community, and the community in the very near future will be demanding more and more from us in return. It's important for academics to do it from that perspective, but it's also the rigorous flame of applying your scholarly endeavors to the real world with real people that get us all to a better outcome. There's no point us just talking in lecture theatres, boring students to death who are there because they have to be. We have to get that knowledge out to the community. We can all benefit from knowledge. This is what's got humanity to the point that it's at. And somehow 30, 40 years ago, we started to silo that. We had the scholars and the teachers, and we had the rest. We need to go back to the time when people realized that there's real knowledge out there, you can apply it, and you can get better outcomes for your life and the lives of others. This is what we need to do. We need to show the community that we do have value. We need to be able to talk in our lecture theatres about practical things we've done. And the only way to do all these things is to follow through on what I'm talking about here. So what I'm recommending here is that academics get out of their universities and become advisors, not consultants. As you know, if you've been watching my videos, you know I detest consulting. We don't need consultants. As a species, it's caused a lot of controversies in America, Australia, and the UK, and it will continue to do so, because the motive there is money and profit. What we need is knowledge, and that's what scholars have. What scholars need to do is get out of the university, get in the real world, like I regularly do, get your hands dirty, explain complex theories, explain sophisticated maths, and people will quickly tell you if you're not on the right track. You can adjust and you can improve. You can take that back to your lecture theatre and start teaching people things in an applied real world setting, because that's what your students want to know too. How is this going to change my life? How is this going to change other people's lives? That's where we need to move from academics chained to our lecture dais to advisors for the community sharing our knowledge. I've done an awful lot of this, some $1.7 million worth, I think, by the latest reckoning, with 50, 60 jobs over the years. And I've learnt a lot, and I would like to share more of this with you. If you want to have more of this shared, if you're an academic, let me know. My number one rule is be honest. The truth is the truth. What the whole world believes, or the whole world disbelieves it, as Moses Ben Maimonides, one of my philosopher heroes, said. And that's my attitude. If they want a story, they need to go to a commercial consultant. If they want the truth, they need to come to me. And you need to stand firm on that principle, because people, most people, think that if they're paying, they get to tell the story. That is not advising. That's consulting. Very different thing. You need to be able to explain and apply your complex theories. Otherwise, you are just a consultant. You need to be bringing scholarly rigor to this. And how do you do it? You do it with metaphors. I always use metaphors, lots and lots and lots. So if I'm talking about natural justice, I'll say, well, if a really rubbish driver, if I drive up to the back of your car and run into you, who do you think should pay? It's metaphors like that that really cut through, make people think, oh, he's just an average guy here. I have a metaphor about buying a carton of beer for capital expenditure. You really connect with people. They see that you're not a stodgy academic, that's what's in their head, and that you're just a regular guy trying to help them with deductive logic and truth. So strongly recommend metaphors. Aristotle said it was the best of all the rhetorical tropes, and I'm with Aristotle on most things, unless I'm with Aquinas or Maimonides, who both worked off Aristotle anyway. So next thing, you still got to do the sophisticated empirical math. Otherwise, they may as well get the consultants with their dodgy little ratios and pie charts that are never done properly. But you've got to be able to explain it in a way that people get it. So my recommendation, explaining something like data and development analysis, explain what you're doing in terms of graphs and what it's achieving. So what we're trying to do is measure which councils are the most efficient, and we're comparing your council to that. You'll get a score between 0, you're perfectly inefficient rubbish, and 1, you're awesome. This is what your council is. It's not that hard. Keep it simple. Don't give up on the sophisticated maths. Just explain it in words that people get. If you're talking about multiple regression analysis, I have a standing joke. You remember the best time in your life? That's right, you're in a year 7 maths classroom and you've just heard all about y equals mx plus c. Well, I do that, but on steroids. And here's the answers. Okay, it's not that hard. And pursue and convey truth. The whole time you're doing this work, you've got to be thinking, what is the truth? Have I applied deductive logic? I've got videos about this. Have I applied rigorous theory? Have I applied sophisticated maths? What is the truth? Let's ignore everyone's opinions, and it's good to hear them and test the opinions against what you're finding. That's incredibly important, in fact. But at the end of the day, you're there for truth. If you're not an advisor. You might be a consultant or something else. You're not an advisor. And that's the key difference, as I often say. You know, consultants, it's not their fault. It's a difficult job, and they've got their place when people want a certain story spun. They're there for profit. They're there for connections and future work opportunities. That's what they're there for. They have to typically earn 2.5 times their wage. You're not. You're an advisor. You're an academic. You're there to do awesome research and convey that research to everyday people to show them how it helps their lives. You're there to use deductive logic because that gets us to truth, as Euclid showed and most philosophers showed. I am aware there's non-Euclidean geometry, but I reject that premise. You're there for truth. You're there for a completely different reason. And if your university makes a profit, wonderbar, and all the money I've ever made's gone to my university. If they don't, well, you're improving their brand recognition. You're showing people why universities are important, why they should be paying taxes to fund universities, and you've still achieved awesome things, and you've helped real people with real problems in the real world. You've tested your ideas. You've put them up to the pub test and you found out whether they're true or not. You've got new knowledge that you can take and apply in your lecture theatre and your papers. You've achieved a lot. Who cares about the profit? I don't. Caution to say, this is my personal work, it's my personal opinion. My university may or may not believe otherwise. I don't mind. We can all differ in opinions. That's what scholars do, and we use reason to work out who's talking truth and who's not. This is my version. Look, if you have found this useful, if you're a scholar wanting to get into this and you want more advice, I'm happy to do more videos. Get in contact with me through the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, recruit, all those things. That's what keeps me going. Thank you very much for your time. Goodbye.